Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Moderator, our distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, our friends and our enemies.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam rasulullah wa ba'd. So a lot of you guys might have noticed on my channel that I haven't been speaking much about the aftermath of the George Floyd murder. And the reason why that is not because I have nothing to say. Actually, I have quite a lot to say. However, I'm using my channel or my platform to give homage to our elders so that their voices can be heard. People like Shaykh Khalid Yassin, people like Imam Jamil Alamin, who is still, by the way, in jail right now. He is a legit political prisoner. And it's very, very, very shameful that Muslims are alive today and he is in prison in the States. That's a shame. It's embarrassing. I'm sorry, I had to put that out there, right? So Jamil Alamin and Malcolm X, Rahimahullah. I've been using my platform to promote other speakers and let their voices be heard, because there are a lot of things to say about this issue, and we have to be very careful and cautious about the things that we say. So it's a responsibility for people who are speaking that they take careful consideration of the people that they're speaking to and the people that they're speaking about. So one person who felt the need to speak about this issue is Nasir AlHanbali. Now, Nasir AlHanbali, he is somebody whose channel I subscribe to, and his translations are amazing. They're really good when he does his translations. However, his refutations, when he does the refutations himself, they're absolutely terrible. They're not good at all. As a matter of fact, I think I've only seen one refutation that he's done on his personal level that I said, okay, this is a good refutation. But the rest of them, they're garbage. They're just garbage. But however, for me, because my position is unity is more important than causing division over these issues, I don't say much. But this refutation that he did yesterday on June the 7th was so egregious and inconsiderate and lacking anything that resembles wisdom. It was just that bad that I said, I can't be quiet about this one. This guy has a lot of followers and people are cheerleading this refutation that he did. And it's something that is so incredibly irresponsible that if people went on the street and started repeating this, they could legit probably get hurt. And we see a lot of, most people right now they can see us, black people. The whole world can see us now. Everybody can see us. And it's an opportunity for Muslims to make really good dawah. And this guy, I don't know what he was thinking with this video he did. I don't know if he's clout chasing or what it was. But anyway, let's have a look at it. So here we see the title of his video: protesting under the banner of Black Lives Matter is joining the enemies of Islam. So a lot of the times YouTubers, they make these elaborate titles in order to catch views, you know what I mean? Because in YouTube, there are algorithms that are used. So, you know, YouTube will kind of push your video if you get more people watching it. The more it's trending, the more it's going to push up your video. So, you know, as a Muslim, you give people the benefit of the doubt. And I watched this video. So let's start with what's in the content of the video. First of all, he brings the statements of Shaykh Muqbil. So let's see what Shaykh Muqbil, Rahimahullah, what he says.
فأعداء الإسلام هم الذين أشاعوا هذه المظاهرات وقلدهم الانهزاميون من المسلمين والجاهلون الذين لا يعرفون الحلول الإسلامية.
So now we're going to look at what Nasir AlHanbali says. This is not Shaykh Muqbil anymore. We already looked at what Shaykh Muqbil had to say. We're going to look at what Nasir AlHanbali says. So he writes, if the Shaykh is warning against blindly following the kuffar, then what do you think about demonstrating and protesting under the banner of the enemies of Islam, such as Black Lives Matter? So I have one question to ask Nasir AlHanbali directly, and that is, are you making a fatwa? Are you making a fatwa? Because this right here looks like a fatwa to me. It looks like you made a fatwa to say that Black Lives Matter, the organization itself, are the enemies of Islam. And I want to know if that's what you're saying, because it's pretty clear to me that that's what you're saying. And what is your description of the enemies of Islam? Why is this important? First of all, Shaykh Muqbil, he did not say this. Shaykh Muqbil, Rahimahullah, he's dead. He's been dead for 20 years. He can't answer for this. And to be honest, this is a pattern with Nasir AlHanbali's refutations, which is why I don't like them, is that he makes these grand generalizations. He will bring a statement from any alim. It doesn't make a difference, right? He'll make a statement from any alim. The alim is speaking about one thing, and then he will make this grand generalization and apply it to something specific, like Black Lives Matter. He called the Black Lives Matter organization the enemies of Islam. So that's a fatwa to me. Regardless of if they're LGBTQ in there or whatever. So what is your definition of the enemies of Islam then? Is it anybody that's kafir? All kuffar are the enemies of Islam? Anybody that's LGBTQ is the enemy of Islam? What is your definition? So can we agree that the biggest sin in Islam is shirk? I think we can all agree with that. So if the biggest sin is shirk, there's nothing bigger than that, including LGBTQ. There's no sin worse than shirk. Are we saying that anybody who is a mushrik or a kafir is inherently an enemy of Islam? Is that what you're saying? Because if that's the case, then you have to answer to why the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would send his own companions to make hijrah to Ethiopia under the banner, as you said, of Najashi, the Christian, who was not Muslim. And the Prophet ﷺ, he described him as a good man and a Christian king. And he did not describe him with the words that you're saying. An enemy of Islam is somebody who is aggressive against Islam itself. These are the enemies of Islam. So who told you that Black Lives Matter are the enemies of Islam? Is it Sheikh Salih Fawzan? Is it Sheikh Luhaydan? Where did you get this from? Because you didn't get it from Shaykh Muqbil. Nobody heard that. Nobody heard that. This is something that you made up. You're trying to connect Shaykh Muqbil's words to your batil beliefs, and you do that all the time. So even though Black Lives Matter, the organization itself, forget the protesters, we're going to get to that in a minute, but I'm talking about the organization itself, is not inherently against Islam. Nasir AlHanbali calls them the enemies of Islam. because they promote homosexuality or whatever. They have like LGBTQ promotion or whatnot. Even though they're not aggressive to Islam itself. And in the Quran, when you read the Quran, you have many stories of many different prophets. And if you look at the story of Lut, Allah was sending Lut to make da'wah to his people who were involved in homosexuality. And Allah did not call those people his enemies until the hujjah was established against them. Then he destroyed them. So what I want to know is, how much da'wah have you made to these people to call them the enemies of Islam? And how much da'wah do you know that other people have made to these people to call them the enemies of Islam? Because this is not what Allah even called the people that he destroyed until the hujjah or the proof was established against them first. Furthermore, when Shaykh Muqbil, Rahimahullah, when he was talking about the enemies of Islam, he was talking about established enemies. Would you not agree that Hizb ut-Tahrir, they're the enemies of Islam? Would you not agree that Hizbullah, they're the enemies of Islam? I would say so. Would you not agree that American foreign powers, who get involved in almost every single uprising on the planet, because they export two things, U.S. colonial powers, they only export weaponry and democracy. Would you agree that those colonial powers are the enemies of Islam? The people might not be aggressive towards Islam. An enemy of Islam is somebody that you're potentially going to make jihad against. He's calling Black Lives Matter enemies of Islam. So that's a fatwa. That is a fatwa. And I just want to know where you got that fatwa from. So Nasir AlHanbali says, yes, Black lives do matter, and what took place and what takes place regularly in America is oppression. It's fair enough, right? However, this doesn't mean that we stand side by side and under the banner of sodomites, chanting what they chant, moving when they move, being led by them, and seeking honor and glory from them. This is because the Muslim only has one banner, and that is the banner to make the word of Allah supreme. Okay, you're not black. I never met you. I never talked to you. I don't know anything about you, but I can tell 100% that you're not black. Because no self-respecting black person would ever make such an asinine statement, ever. First of all, we have a lot of black du'at who are speaking on this issue. So many. Brothers like Khalid Green, brothers like Jihad Muhammad, M.A., brothers like Najib Angelisi, and so many different black du'ats, and not a single one of them said what you said. That's the first thing. The second thing is the Black Lives Matter organization is different, much different than the Black Lives Matter protest. Because the protesters that you see in the streets are not organized by the organization Black Lives Matter, which you are speaking against. The vast majority of the protesters are there for the underlying message of Black Lives Matter, and you are turning this into the organization. I don't know if you have any black friends, but if you do, then perhaps before you speak about black issues, it's not the first time you did this. And yes, I will be talking about those other issues in the future, because I left them alone, but after seeing this, you have a problem. You seriously have a problem with black people, bro. So anyway, are you telling me that Black Lives Matter, they organize the protest in Canada, they organize the protest in Mexico, they organize the protest in Britain, in Ireland, in Scotland, in Japan, in South Korea, in Rome, in Milan, Spain? You're telling me Black Lives Matter organize all these protests all over the world? Even in in Israel, okay, the Jews and the Palestinians in that country can't even agree if water is wet. But the one thing they agree on is Black Lives Matter. Both the Jews and the Palestinians. And you are coming here with this pompous disrespect of this underlying message of Black Lives Matter. No black person would say something so stupid. We have all black people who are converts or descendants of converts in this country, and actually in all Western countries. We all have relatives who are calling us, asking us if we're going to the Black Lives Matter protest. And we have to give them a reason why we're not going. And not a single one of us, I guarantee you, not a single of us said what you just said right now. And if you, as a non-black person, and I challenge you, go into any black neighborhood right now and say word for word what you're saying right here. You're telling other people, you're giving other people this opinion. No alim gave you this opinion. You came up with this on your own. Say this in a black neighborhood, see what happens to you. I want to explain something to Nasir AlHanbali. All the Sahaba, or rather, the vast majority of Sahaba were converts. The vast majority of them. Not a single one of them called their families or their relatives, like you saying, the enemies of Islam. They didn't do that. They made da'wah to their relatives. Many of us are making da'wah to our relatives. I can tell that you're not black. I can tell that you're not a convert just by the tone. I don't need to know anything about you. I can tell. I can tell you don't have any non-Muslim relatives just by this tone that you're talking right here. And you shouldn't be talking about these issues because you're seriously going to get somebody hurt if they repeat this to other black people. So somebody wants to say that protesting is haram. And they want to make it a point that they don't want to protest because it's against their religion. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. But to repeat what you said, running behind the Sodomites and that's not even what's happening. If you don't know what's happening, why are you speaking? Why are you giving fatwa, enemies of Islam, under Islam? Like, why? And it's not your forte. It's not your program. It's not your people. You're not helping the Muslims. You're not helping black people. All you're doing is pushing venom on your channel. Your refutations, they're just full of venom, bro, straight up. And I'm going to address last point to black people specifically. You see, when you have people like this doing this stuff, you need to check them. You need to stop being quiet and stop being silent. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that when people like this, Nasir AlHanbali, tell you what to think about your people, that you just like this because you don't want to make it seem like you're going against the Muslims. You are not going against Islam by standing up for your people. That's not what you're doing. And if they are not brotherly enough to take care and have consideration for your struggle, how are you going to call them your brothers? Islam or no Islam? These people that, man, I'll make another video because I can go off about that topic, but I'll make another video. But basically, black people, check these guys. Subhanakallah, hamdak wa shanallah, ila astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I love you. Yes. 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 Yes, only you.